This is the Lexus NX 350h, and like this two-toned interior, it's a little bit light, but it's a little bit dark too.
This compact premium crossover seats 5, and this version that I'm testing is the hybrid all-wheel drive. Lexus also has a base 250, there's a 350 without the hybrid, as well as a 450 Plus, which is a plug-in hybrid and a first for the high-end Toyota cousin.
The NX gets a complete exterior redesign. It doesn't really matter what I think, although I think it looks good, it's lower and looks less fussy. What matters is what you think.
Just a couple of details for those interested. The windshield gets a more dramatic rake and it gets LED headlights. To give you a little more context, some foe in the competitive set include the Acura RDX, BMW X1 or X3, Cadillac XT4, Infiniti QX50, and maybe you could even throw in the Mercedes-Benz GLA.
The NX size-wise is a little bit of a tweener. It is smaller than the RAV4, but also a little bit bigger than the CHR. So it's a great vehicle if you're looking for something that is still easy to park in urban areas, but still has room for passengers.
Let's take a look at that room, shall we?
Up front, I'm really comfortable, as I would have expected. I have plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom, and because this is a higher trim level, I have a lot of nice touch points, so my elbows are really happy. In fact, thanks to those extras. Let's see what the second row looks like a little bit when it comes to size. Now, my dangerously average 5'5" body is pretty happy back here too. Again, even with the sloping roofline, I have a decent amount of headroom and legroom. When it comes to the middle seat, it's not completely uncomfortable, it's just a bit narrow, so this is not really somewhere I'd like to stay for an inordinate amount of time. And when I do get behind someone who's maybe, I don't know, a Mike Danger size, then we are talking a little more limitation, but overall, this is quite a satisfactory place to sit back here.
Speaking of some of those extras, standard on all NX models you'll find push-button start, dual-zone climate control, power-adjustable heated front seats, and a leather-trimmed steering wheel. You'll also get a 9.8-inch touchscreen as well as wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the Lexus safety system that includes adaptive cruise control with a curve speed management feature, as well as blind spot monitoring and emergency braking assist.
That's a lot of good stuff that I would expect from a premium brand. Now, Lexus does not make you go up a trim level if you want some more amenities. You have packages that you can select from, and you can kind of cherry pick them a little bit yourself.
Those include features such as ventilated front seats, a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel, open pore wood as an interior trim option, as well as a heated steering wheel, panoramic sunroof, and wireless charging.
Overall, I think the interior redesign of the NX is very successful. I really like the way that it looks in here. There are a couple of things that I am going to point out specifically though. The first is the wireless charger. I absolutely love the position of this thing, and here's why. You can put it down right there and your phone goes boop and it starts charging, but then you can slide this whole top part back and you have this whole extra cubby in here, and your phone has this sort of little, it's almost like a little rail so that it doesn't like slide around and fall out, and when you're ready to go get it again, it's just right there like it's on a little tray. The second thing I'm going to say that I really like is this screen. Normally I like an integrated screen on a dashboard. This 14-inch screen, however, is not positioned completely flat. It's oriented a little bit to the driver, so when I'm driving, I have a really clear and easy view to it, and even though it's not that dramatic, it makes a big difference while I'm driving, and that's fantastic. The third thing is, and this is not a favorite thing of mine, the turn signal. When I flip this turn signal, both the stock and the sound of the turn signal, they both sound kind of cheap. The materials on here very clearly are plastic and a bit hollow. They make kind of like a kind of an inexpensive sound, and the sound of the turn signal also does not sound like it should on a premium car. I know sound and touch maybe doesn't sound that important, but let me tell you, everything matters.
The two-tone interior is not my favorite. It's a little bit stark. and it does make it feel a little bit busy in here. The way the cabin is set up, though, feels intuitive and well organized for both driver and passengers. It also gets a fair amount of cargo space for a vehicle this compact. That's less than the RDX, but about in line with the XT4.
There are 4 available powertrains on the Lexus NX.
The base 250 gets a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. That 250 comes with either front or all-wheel drive, depending on how you spec. Move up to the 350 all-wheel drive and you get a boost in power with a turbo. The 450h Plus with all-wheel drive gets an electric drive motor with the 2.5-liter engine that gets you a cumulative 304 horsepower.
The one that I'm driving right now is the 350h, and that's kind of in between those. This is the non-plug-in hybrid. This one comes equipped with that base 2.5-liter engine plus the electric drivetrain. This one goes from 0 to 60 in about 7.2 seconds, which, listen, that's not really that quick in the scheme of things, but the good thing in that regard is that it's at least faster than the previous generation NX.
The 350h gets a motor that operates the starter, generator, and charges the hybrid battery. A second motor drives the front wheels, and I get a motor in the rear, which gives me my all-wheel drive. The hybrid powertrains all get the same 14.9-gallon gas tank, but thanks to that hybrid motor, you're going to see greatly improved fuel economy numbers. If you get the more powerful 350, you will take a hit at the gas pump, but the plug-in 450 Plus will really change things up.
So when it comes to driving, that's when things get a little bit dark for me on the NX. I appreciate the power that the 350h has. It's quick, the acceleration is good, but when it comes to the transmission, that's not doing this little crossover any favors.
It's paired to a CVT that's effective, but it is painfully loud. It has literally stopped conversations, and someone I was on the phone with asked me what that noise was. CVTs are getting better, without a doubt, but this one is not quite one of those yet. It's still obtrusive and droning, and for a premium car, I expect more. I do get paddles if I want to change the gears myself, which is great, but the non-hybrid versions have 8-speed transmissions, and those should perform better for you.
The brakes are definitely effective. For my liking, they have a bit too much bite right up at the top of the pedal. In a premium car, I would like something perhaps a little smoother and more progressive. The one other thing that I'm not used to yet, and maybe it's just a matter of getting used to it, the shifter. So this is the same shifter that you'll find in the Prius. The only problem is reverse is up top and drive is at the bottom. To me, it feels a little bit counterintuitive. I would think drive would be up top and reverse would be back. Go figure. I will also say that I'm not really crazy about the cabin noise and the vibration in here. So I can feel a lot of the road vibration through the tires. I can feel it so much that I feel it on the floorboards and even in the throttle pedal. And that's on a smoothish road that isn't really like super bumpy. When you get onto rough terrain, boy, I can feel it even sometimes in the steering wheel. This is the all-wheel drive version, and this should be able to drive a little bit more smoothly, especially on a little bit more rough terrain.
The NX now rides on the global TNGA-K platform that underpins the Camry, Highlander, and RAV4, as well as the Lexus ES. The suspension under the NX is a McPherson strut setup in the front and a trailing arm double wishbone in the rear, but it's not cutting the mustard for me. It's not as smooth or as compliant as I think a car in a premium segment should be. It handles fine around turns, but there is definitely torque steer, and if you do manage to take a turn too quickly, the NX feels as though it reaches its limit quickly. To me, the Acura RDX handles corners with more composure and is a better overall driving experience. I will say, the steering feels good, and the size of the steering wheel in my hand is just right.
When it comes to interacting with the vehicle, yes, some improvements have been made by Lexus. So instead of that weird touchpad that they had right here in the center console, they've actually moved those touch pads and they've kind of put two right here on the steering wheel. So this one on the right hand side, this controls all of the adaptive cruise control settings, and the one on the left does other things like phone volume, stereo settings.
The touch functionality is hypersensitive. I just need to brush against it to get the cursor to move, and it totally happens when I'm driving if I just accidentally brush against it. I can see all of it flashing in the head-up display, and it's highly distracting. I'm grateful there's a touchscreen so I can avoid these controls altogether. Pricing on the Lexus NX starts on the 250 at $39,025. That doesn't include taxes, license, or destination fees. The 350h starts at $42,125, and the plug-in 450 Plus starts much higher at around $56,800.
There are so many options when it comes to the premium crossover segment, and I'm not even talking about brands now. I'm talking hybrids and EVs. The Lexus NX offers a great looking interior, really functional, excellent standard features, and a lot of interesting powertrains. You know what? If you're in the market, I don't envy you. You have your work cut out for you.